Hi, can you introduce yourself shortly, and can you also explain what's going on in Iran right now?
Yes. Hi, my name is Hila Shahidi. I am 26 years old. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'm here in Grapevine, Texas. We are here as Iranians in support of the Crown Prince Reza Shah, as well as the support of Trump and his policies towards Iran or towards the Islamic regime. We're here to support Trump to continue the war against the regime in order to eradicate the terroristic cancer that has been there for 47 years.
You know, there's so many divisions. So, me personally, I supported the war from the get-go because I'm from South Korea.
Yes.
So, South Korea has been one of the biggest beneficiary countries for economic boom because of America's help.
Yeah.
So, we want the same thing happening to the Iranian people in Iran. But some people have been criticizing, like Israel was behind all this, that President Trump has been just following Israel's demands. So
Right.
But what's your opinion on that, about the division regarding that issue?
I totally understand that because, in a way, it is the truth. I believe Mossad or the Israeli intelligence, they have infiltrated Iran's security, their traffic cameras, their people, the people in the IRGC, they do have people working for them. And there is a cause to, maybe Israel is doing it to help the Iranian people, maybe it's to help themselves. At the same time, it aligns with Iranians' values of what they want, and they want less tyranny. They want Iranians not to be killed for no rhyme or reason. So their value, it might be a fight of their own fight, but their values align with Iranians' values at the same time.
What's your opinion about the Epstein files? Do you think Epstein files also played some kind of role? Some conspiracy theorists, so-called conspiracy theorists. I mean, these days a lot of conspiracy theory. After like 6 months, it becomes conspiracy fact. But do you think the Epstein files? Do Iranian Americans or Iranians think that the Epstein files somehow played a role in the war?
I honestly don't think Iranians are aware of too much of the Epstein files, but I myself, I'm, let's say, Gen Z or millennial, and I have looked into the files, I've read and I know about it, and it does seem that way. And even to me, it looks like that's what it is. It could be a blackmail thing, who knows? But with the conspiracy theories, you can keep going on and on who's behind what, but it is disturbing. Those are disturbing.
Because only 2% of the files have been released and 98% are not. So we're imagining all kinds of what's, and because the 2% that has been released is so crazy, it's very hard to fathom.
Right.
It kind of feel like we're living in a satanic world, and the whole world is upside down, and many people are even actually losing hope about both parties.
Yeah.
And still, I support President Trump big time. I've been supporting him. You know, I predicted that he would be president one day back in 2003. So I always supported President Trump, but to see, and I also always, it was a default for conservatives to support Israel at the same time.
Exactly.
And I now completely understand why President Trump was hesitant about releasing the Epstein files, because probably he did predict that it will bring some kind of division in the MAGA movement and the conservative base. And it seems like to me, the people that the establishment is criticizing, I think it seems to me that they're the ones who's really telling a lot of truth. What say you?
I honestly agree, and like with CPAC, they are very pro-Israel, right?
Yes.
And
but they did have Steve Bannon, who's a little bit more critical about Israel, and they also had other influencers that was kind of highly critical of Israel as well.
Like Nick Shirley, I believe, as well. He's an independent journalist, and he is like around my age range.
Yeah.
The younger generation, our generation, is realizing that there is that black shadow behind America.
No question about it.
So, I believe America first. It's that simple. This is a country that allows every race, ethnicity to live without persecution. And yeah, I am there. My foot, half of my foot is on that side because it's a little concerning. And what Israel's actual motive is with Iran, we're not aware either. But we just know at this time in history that they are trying to help us where no one else was helping
That's
us.
what I think too. So people like you, Hila. Like if I'm in your shoes, I would be very super supportive of Israel at this point,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We're right.
We're supportive. But we don't know what the future holds. 1 year from now, where will we be? Is Israel just trying to bring another regime leader out of the IRGC? But I mean, to us Iranians, that's still part of the IRGC. That is not getting rid of the regime. Getting the regime is the entire thing gone. Like, so we're not sure what they're trying to do. Are they just was it a internal coup of the IRGC of what's going to happen, or are they going to pave the path for protesters in Iran to allow the crown prince to come in?
Do you think the sentiment in Iran for a long time, since they've been heavily suppressed by the Khamenei regime, the dictatorship ever since 1979, prior to that, Iran was one of the most wealthiest and also one of the most popular resorts to go to visit.
Yes.
And it was just a completely different world back then. It's like Iran went backwards, and I really think that these Islam fundamentalists is ruining everywhere where they reach their influence. So was that the sentiment of Iranians, that they wanted Israel to be involved? That some of them really did support Israel, because Israel is, as we know on the Western world, that the sole democratic country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no perfect country, but we're the most sole democratic country where Americans can travel freely there. So that's why one of the reasons why America is still, regardless of their lobby, that America has a special sentiment towards Israel. Was that the sentiment of Iranians too as well?
I think it got to a point that now it is the sentiment, probably not before. Every 4 to 6 years, protests come out in Iran, and these are unarmed civilians just protesting the economic difficulties. There's no prosperity in Iran, and then they get massacred. So every 4 to 6 years, there's a massacre in Iran, and now we are at that critical point where, the sentiment now aligns with Israel.
So even among the Korean American conservatives, Korean American, and I feel like there's some kind of like division happening because of the Israel issue. But my point is, I tell my followers and subscribers that we still at this point have to, in spite of all this, support President Trump, and also, even though it's hard to swallow for some, at this juncture, we should support Israel. I mean, sometimes you have to pick and choose, what to fight with, and I feel like it's not the time to fight these infighting, because Republican has been losing a lot of races these days. I mean, it's kind of like serious.
And they might lose the midterms because of this war.
I mean, the Democrats taking over Republican seats, that's 30 seats in a row. But you don't see Republicans taking over any Democratic seats. I'm talking about the state legislature side, which is kind of like the most important race prior to midterm election. So what's your take on that, and how do you see the November midterm election?
The midterms, it's honestly another point where they would, if the Democrats do win, they would try to overturn of all his policies against Iran. I'm thinking Trump is trying to wrap it up before the midterm, because if it prolongs until the midterm, he's losing. He's going to lose the midterms for sure, in my opinion. I think conservatives are split, no to Iran war, and then there are Democrats, obviously no to Iran war. So he is, I think, he's trying to just wrap it up, but at the same time, if he wraps it up and chooses someone within the regime as the leader, like, it's almost a failure to us as Iranians. So it's probably the most stressful and contagious part of this point right now before the midterms. So I totally, it scares me, but he might lose if this doesn't end well.
Are you actively involved in political conservative clubs or community? Just out of curiosity.
Not
really,
no.
So CPAC, is this your first CPAC or?
Yes, it's my first. It's my first political conference.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Even I brought my mom and dad here, so we're here to show our support. But honestly, like, we should come every year. You know,
Okay,
just show our support. Like, we will gain the trust of the American people that we are on their side if we continuously show our support for them. Because some Americans don't understand what's really going on, and that they think Iranians are against the war because obviously another country's bombing them. They don't understand the true depth of what's actually going on. Yeah.
So what's your review? If you have to review your first, your reaction about your first political event, which is CPAC in Texas. Usually it's held in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
And what's your take on it?
I think it's eye-opening. Even if you are not a Republican or conservative, it is good to come and get the other side of the political spectrum, because there would be no conservative or Republican side without the liberal. We need both parties. It is essential for American balance and freedom. Otherwise, it's just, if it's one party that dominates, that's a dictatorship. I would like to actually go to like a liberal conference and see what they talk about. There's obviously good points and bad points of each party, and that's what makes everything beautiful. And hopefully, like, not obviously a tyrannical dictatorship like one party system like the regime. So
Yeah. Thank you very much.
yeah, of course, no problem.